This podcast is brought to you by the Podtower, hosted by the Watchtower database. Visit youtube.com/thepodtower for informative, hilarious DC animation-themed podcasts and live streams every week. And check out the Watchtower database for DCAU video essays, timelines, fan theories, and more. And please, enjoy the show. Welcome back to Jump on the Bat-Wagon. I'm James from the Watchtower Database YouTube channel. With me, as always, is my co-host, Brian, Dr. Broderick Maneely himself, here to watch the entire DC animated universe from start to finish for the very first time in the controversial airdate order, so that he may view these shows the way human beings experienced them in the far-gone days of the 1900s.
And I'm Brian.
We recommend you watch today's DCAU episode before listening to this podcast to get the full experience out of our discussion. I can't make you do that, but I can make Brian do that. I don't know what song Brian's doing.
Just some weird waiting music.
At the time of this recording, 5:01 p.m.
PA.
PA. 5:01 p.m. I am the Eiffel Tower talking to Batman. Batman the Animated Series is streaming on Max.
My dog.
And available on DVD and Blu-ray. How'd you like that? Just jump on into the intro. Just jump on the Bat-Wagon.
Yeah, you know what? It's the most professional we've ever done, so you might as well quit the podcast.
You might as well go in the background the whole time. Oh, I see James is just doing it. Okay, how can I fuck this up? All right.
Slight chicken song.
How are the neighbor chickens? How are they doing?
They're there. I
there?
saw one today just have a conniption for I don't know what reason.
Oh, nice.
It just was standing in the middle of a grassy yard and then just went, oh, fuck! And it started flapping and running. And then it was no, we're cool.
That's because that's what chickens do, I guess. Was it because you were peeing next to it and it went, oh, a human penis? And
it might have been that I was peeing on the
yeah.
chicken, now that I think about it.
That makes
From
a lot
about
of sense.
50 feet away. So it was really surprised.
Oh, I thought we were flopping rolls.
We can be.
You got to do the next part. Today we're watching, this is how it starts. Okay.
Okay. Today we're watching some YouTube videos. Lately I've been watching...
Nope.
Oh.
What? Are we doing the suggestion segment that we're inventing right now? What have you been watching on the YouTube besides Watchtower Database?
Is this a thing? Is it okay?
New segment for no reason at the start of the podcast.
A couple of my mainstays.
Wow, that's cool. Today I'm just kidding. Hank Green and Tom Scott and
Tom Scott, yes.
Science one.
Veritasium?
Well, yeah, that's one. Yeah, Vsauce. I had to say the
Michael
intro in my head.
Vsauce?
Michael here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I'm probably watching either something science-y. I'm watching Thomas Heaton, the landscape photographer.
Yeah.
Laura Kampf, who's my absolute hero. Or lately I've been watching some Borderlands 3 content because me and my buddy are trying to break that game.
Make it not work anymore?
No. Make it not able to kick our butts.
Oh, yeah.
But
I've never been successful at that. I can't Borderlands very well. I've tried. I know it's a lot of people's faves, but... Yeah.
It's a really good series.
Yeah.
Their storytelling is excellent. It's it's a first person shooter, gear grabber kind of game, but their storytelling is amazing and the art is also very cool.
There's a Borderlands 2. Is that it? Is there Borderlands Trace? No.
Yeah, so there's Borderlands 2. The third one was Borderlands the pre-sequel.
The Squeakquel.
Then there was Borderlands 3.
Is it really called the pre-sequel?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I like that. I'm glad.
There's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which if you play the way that I play with a buddy on one
with a
TV,
controller,
the game is literally unplayable. and it's the worst thing they've ever done.
Borderlands Duckman Private Dick.
Oh man, I'm waiting for that expansion actually.
Yeah. / Family Man. Anyway. Yeah, today we're watching Lockup, Batman the Animated Series episode Lockup. You correctly-ish guessed that this would be a lock-related villain after I told you that that's the name of the villain. But you were also disappointed that this was going to be one of those where it's just a one-time random bad guy based on nothing. Yeah.
We get a lot of those.
Yeah, I think this might
like Mr.
be
Freeze.
The last one. I could be wrong. I'm wrong about that immediately. Anyway, yeah, this aired Saturday, November 19th, 1994. We skipped 1 week, 10 a.m., Fox Kids. This was the 82nd, not second, episode produced in between Harley's Holiday and Make 'Em Laugh, which aired back to back. So they just went like, no, not Lockup, not yet. And the 79th to air. We're almost into the 80s. We're so close to done with this show.
God.
It's crazy.
It's almost the 80s.
It's almost the 80s. That's when Brian was in college or something. Even though I think we've established before you were in college in like the 10s or something.
The 1880s.
1880s. The story is by Paul Dini with teleplay by Marty Eisenberg and Robert N. Skier, who were the team up before on His Silicon Soul and What is Reality?
Vi-Reality.
I don't know why they always work together. Vi-Reality. They wrote Vi-Reality?
You say you don't know why they always work together. Jamie, do we do anything but work together?
No. Yeah, nobody does that. Why? It's so weird. Directed by Dan Reba.
Yay!
Who directed Zatanna, Blind as a Bat, See No Evil, Fire from Olympus, Trial, Riddler's Reform, Baby Doll, Time Out of Joint, Backroll Returns, and this is his final btas credit. This episode,
man.
Lock Up. So that means we have 6 or 7 episodes of no Dan Reba.
That's awful. But I bet he had his hands in that pie somehow.
Pie. You think Dan's a pie guy or a cake guy?
Pie.
Yeah, pie. He strikes me as a pie man. Music by Christopher Carter and Brian Langsbard, who are both new
I was going to say,
names.
neither of those sound familiar to me.
Christopher Carter, I was excited to see. He will become like a staple DCAU composer. He, Michael McQuistion, and Lolita Ritmanis are the like trio that become the dynamic music partners that are like every show eventually are just them.
Sweet.
And they're good at what they do. I wrote down, because these are new composers, I wrote down some other stuff that they were known for. Christopher Carter, first composing credit on btas. Other known works, eventually, because he had one thing before this that I didn't recognize. I think he's also one of those like underlings of Shirley Walker that like, oh, hey, you college kid, come work for me and learn how to be good at stuff.
The underlings.
The underdwellers. The Underminer, Teen Titans, Legion of Superheroes, various Ben 10 series, various Marvel animated series and movies, various DC direct-to-video movies, various Scooby-Doo projects. He was also the electric drum player on The Book of Eli, the Denzel Washington movie. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't.
And he played synthesizer for the music in Mystery Men. You know that movie? So that was cool.
Love that.
He was also orchestrator on Escape from L.A., Asteroid, and The Adventures of Captain Zoom in Outer Space, which I have never heard of. We got Brian Langsbard, also first composing credit. Only one of 2 in the DCAU, and they're both in btas. Okay. Other known works. Various documentaries on famous baseball players, including Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. He was a composer on Trek Nation, which was a documentary about Star Trek hosted by the son of the creator of Star Trek. And he was the composer and sound effects for The Simpsons Virtual Springfield video game, which I've never played or heard of either, but that was cool to know.
Sweet.
And animation by Dong Yang. Whoa!
Jimmy, before we go,
I
don't know if we talked about this, but my brain is not firing the synapses that it needs to fire, I think. What does DC stand for?
Detective Comics.
Oh.
So DC Comics is Detective Comics. That's one of my favorite little cash cab trivia bits there.
Wow, that it took me this many episodes to ask, and I feel like I've heard you say Detective Comics issue something, and never. I was just like, yeah, detective, sure, whatever.
It's as
Detective Comics,
as I understand it, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, so apologies to any Brian elderly folks listening to the podcast. It was originally, fuck, I don't want to fuck it up. Hang on, DC Comics. I know it's called something. Wikipedia.
Always trust Wikipedia with your
National
life.
Comics. National Comics was what it was originally called. And
NC?
Then, yeah, NC.
You could have been a part of the NCAU.
Oh,
which sounds like
beautiful. I don't know why that
like
sounds worse.
Cop show.
Yeah. And next time on NCAU. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
On DCAU. Now that doesn't work. In 1977 it became DC Comics. I think it was just there was Detective Comics, there was Action Comics, there was a bunch of other shit, and then eventually they just like combined, bought them all, and I guess they chose that one.
ACAU.
A cow. What's that over there? Or what's that sound? Mooing? A cow? All right. Would you like to watch Lockup, Sir Brian? The answer is yes. I'm forcing you to do so.
Yes, you're forcing me to do so. Okay, let's do it.
All right.
The time has come to cleanse Gotham of the real criminals. You apprehend them, Dark Knight, and Lockup will put them away. Together, we can make this city safe again.
By kidnapping innocent victims? I don't think so.
If you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem.
Lockup.
Yep.
The end. Thanks for listening, everybody.
If you'd like to reach out to us like that,
Lockup at the end of the lockup.
Yeah.
Well, Brian.
Well, Jamie.
It's going to be very difficult to not have political commentary in this here episode of the podcast. So apologies to those who are like, that's not what I'm here for, because I don't know how the hell we're not.
You know what?
What?
I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Uh-huh.
If you find yourself aligning at all with the
Lockup.
values of Lockup,
Yeah.
if you found yourself saying things that people have been known to say in the past 6 or so years,
That also appeared
Maybe-
30 years ago in this episode.
maybe it's time to reconsider your stances,
Everything,
and maybe it's
yeah.
time to reconsider who your enemies are.
Maybe it's time to lock up those feelings within you. Well, before we get into all that, Brian, can you tell me what the fuck happened in this episode?
Sin-yop. If you're wondering, Sin-yop. What you just watched, Sin-yop. Take a listen to the synopsis, the short summary, which is sometimes kind of long.
You weren't even looking. I was doing a cute little dance.
I saw your dance.
Okay, thank you.
Jamie.
Ah!
There's a prison guard by the name of Lyle Bolton.
Correct.
Fuck yeah.
I don't think I had ever until today made the Bolt connection, and I feel really stupid.
Seriously?
Yeah, well, you would guess. I think you would guess that, like, his name was, or yeah, he must have to do with locks, blah, blah, blah. And, like, it made total sense that his real name would also, in Batman villain fashion, be some sort of pun on locks and whatever. And you're like,
Yeah.
what was his name after they said it the first time? I'm like, Lyle Bolton. And then you're like, Bolton? And I went, oh my God. My brain. My poor little brain.
Poor brain.
I was instead I don't care what his name is. I was waiting for when he says, make Gotham great again, or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
Anyway,
All right, so
continue
let's
what
go
happens
on.
in the episode, yes.
So Lyle Bolton is he's a what do you
Bolton around.
what do you call that? He's like a
Head of
prison
security or
guard,
whatever. Yeah,
head of security, prison guard dude,
Yeah.
and he's apparently very effective at his job.
Yes. Even the Scarecrow is scared of him.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, don't let me go back to the man in the shadows. I'll take it from here, Batman.
Yeah, so we get the impression and we get an explanation very quickly.
Yeah.
That Bolton is basically one for torture.
Yeah.
And
he said,
the prisoners,
I think they specify that he chains them to the floor and electrifies the door or something like that.
Chains them to the beds and electrifies the door.
Either way, I was like, if they're already chained to the bed, why would they need the door that way? Well, I guess if they got out, they're as they're wont to do. Yeah.
Who knows?
Anyway.
But yeah, so have a little bit of a hearing, and after some light manipulation on Bruce's part,
well, I guess everything's totally fine. No, wait a second.
Yeah. They find out, like in this hearing, that he's actually a terrible person, and he's immediately terminated, and he sits seething in his living room watching the, quote, liberal media and getting fired up. And
the permissive liberal media. Yeah.
There you go. And demolishes his television because he's unhappy with the things he's being presented with.
This isn't Fox News, he says.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so we can't not. I don't know.
It's just it's uncanny. Let me try to wrap this up. I'm having a hard time not talking about it.
Yeah.
So
6 months later.
Then we get a 6 month later. He absolutely flips his shit, puts on some spandex, wears some chains, and goes on a bender, kidnapping every politician that he doesn't agree with, who apparently is just as bad as a criminal.
Oh yeah.
Because they're obeying, rules that have been written and such.
They're letting the bad guys get away with his stuff. They're just not torturing and murdering
to be fair,
them.
We have talked several times about like how bad Arkham is at like keeping people locked away. But that being said, neither of us would be like, you know what they should do? Torture. So anyway, he gets all super villained up and is all like, Batman, I'm fucking stealing this woman in her car, some lady. Let's join forces. And Batman's like, hey, you're a piece of shit. And he's like, oh, I thought you were a piece of shit too. So now you're my enemy. And he gets away with Summer. And long story short, he's kidnapping everybody. He takes them to a ship. And it, like, has them all electrified away, like all the heads of everything, and Summer Gleason and whatever.
The important
all
people and Summer Gleason.
the people running the city and Summer Gleason. And, chains them up in cells with electrified doors. And then Batman and Robin come to like break them out. The ship Titanics itself into a rocky outcropping. And if not for Robin being more capable than Batman, everybody would have died.
Alfred. Why do I do that every once in a while? Like Alfred, the character in the red and green costume. Robin was way more resourceful. Sometimes he's really good. Sometimes he really sucks. This was a really good.
This is a very good Robin episode. Yeah. And there's final battle. Batman somehow comes out on top. Lyle Bolton is taken to Arkham, and he's put in like a solitary confinement where he's talking to himself about keeping an eye on everyone.
He's in his happy place now.
He's got a red hat on with white text on it.
Yes. Okay, official synopsis from Warner Brothers. Several Arkham inmates, including the Scarecrow, Ventriloquist, and Harley Quinn, lodge complaints against Lyle Bolton, the asylum's sadistic new chief of security. When Bolton is fired, he vows revenge on society's true lunatics, the officials the officials whose policies have turned Gotham City into a haven for crime. Taking on the new identity of Master Jailer Lockup, Bolton kidnaps several prominent Gothamites, including Commissioner Gordon and Mayor Hill, and locks them away on an abandoned prison ship. It's up to Batman and Robin to confront Lockup and battle him for the lives of those he's wrongfully imprisoned.
Ba 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 ba.
There are moments of, like, especially at the end with the Scarecrow and his like, ha ha, asshole, you're in here with us now. Like, the way he was saying, like, oh, now you will see true fear or something like that. It was like, you almost sided with the bad guys in this one because they're like,
completely.
Completely. Like, holy shit. Like, yeah, you guys are like not great people, but you should not be being treated like this.
It was hard. It was hard to watch.
Yeah.
Only because like we've just been living so much of this lately.
Yeah, this is one of those episodes that as a kid, it wasn't necessarily one that stuck with me or that I remembered or anything. It like I would obviously any of that kind of stuff is just flying over my head. So it's just like, oh, there was a guy, like a one-time bad guy again, and who cares? But watching it now is much more like, oh, this is so unfortunately real. Like there's so much of this kind of stuff happens all the time. And this is 1994, and they're like almost like verbatim lines from it was not so great.
I was really like taken aback with the whole I mean, what was the Make America Great Again line?
He said it was very close. It was like keep Gotham safe again or something like that. It was so close. Yeah. And then the permissive liberal media, like you looked at me like, what? Jamie, what is happening?
What are we getting into here?
Yeah. Well, I had said when we started, like I've been looking forward to for a while to your like reaction to this episode because it's so... Right. It's so, it comes and goes. There it is. There was the episode, and it's never, Lockup never shows up again. He's never brought up again. And yet it's so like, as you're watching it, it feels very impactful. The only thing I didn't really like, because we talk about stuff we don't like, is that the last maybe, fifth of the episode is just a bunch of like Robin's helping the guys and doing the stuff, and then we cut back to Batman and Lockup's going, we could have been guys, Batman, we could have been buddies and friends, but you had to be Batman. And then it cuts back to Robin saving the guys and doing the stuff, and then it cuts back to Lockup, we could have been this thing. Like they did that like 6 or 7 times. Like, Batman, you and I, we could have been blah. Like it was like, okay, phrase that differently. Just say a different thing, do something else. I know they're just trying to be like, He's trying to make commentary on like you and I are the same Batman clearly, but obviously taking very different approaches, and he's running it through a filter of lunacy and all this stuff, and but it's also sort of a commentary on like, does Batman do everything the right way and that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on in this episode, so. And I don't have the answers.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Answer's 42.
Yeah, exactly.
This was like it was hard. It was hard to watch because I think those of us who have been watching like did you hear about Target pulling? It's like,
oh, was this the binding suits or whatever? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. If you care about what anybody does with their body, like, please don't ever talk to me.
Yeah.
They're so upset that, people other than...
This has a rainbow on it. Yeah. What the fuck? Everything sucks. Everything's bad. I always wonder if, like, you just grow up as a kid more innocent than how, and the world has always just been this shitty, or if it's, like, even more obvious now because of what we've allowed to continue to happen.
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I think there's always been bad stuff. I think there will always be bad stuff. I think there's people will be making a fuss over the wrongest things and making enemies over people that don't need to be made enemies of. Mm-hmm. When this came out, like, I was around for sure, but I wasn't really like up on like world events. But like that sort of thing wasn't as bad in the 90s as it is now.
I will say, like, we're talking about this stuff and we're gonna, because this episode was very much in that realm. And I was just thinking about, like you said, like, don't talk to me, that kind of thing, you know?
I mean, maybe I'll retract that whole, like, don't talk to me thing. Cause like, if you
talk
want
to me so I can tell you,
if you want to have a conversation about like why trans people should allowed to be existing trans people and how they're actually not going to affect your kids that you may or may not have, and how, like, you know what, dear God, like, just let them exist. Let them wear the bathing suits they want to exist. It's not going to affect you at all. Chances are you're not going to, like,
why it does not affect you. It does not fucking affect you or anyone at all. That being said, the art in this episode pretty good.
Jamie,
take a deep breath real quick.
I know. I'm so like, okay. I do want to like get back to this because like this was a great episode, and like we were talking about the art, you know, as it was going on, and like, yeah, the art was amazing, and I'm just gonna have like, I just need a second to like come back to being able to talk about that. And
it's like the episode is about crop circles, but we're gonna try really hard not to talk about crop circles. Like this is clearly, like the people making this episode like knew exactly what they were doing, who they were pushing the buttons of, you know, that kind of thing, and not afraid to just be like, yeah, this is what this is the side that Batman would take in this situation or whatever. Lockup is getting all mad at him for being like, are you really, like, you care about these freaks or whatever he says, like these you have compassion for these criminals, and like, what the fuck is wrong with you or whatever. And Batman's just spouting back at him about like they're people. I'm trying to help them, you know. I don't know. I still punch them in the dick every now and then, like when or he punches Lockup in the dick. But
he sure does. But then again, he gets punched in the dick by Lockup too. So it's I guess that's fair. Mutual but I think the thing is like, you know, Batman is a vigilante, and like you might get like riled up because of that. Like, oh yeah, he's taking care of the bad guys. But if you look at the bad guys he's actively rallying against, you know, it's not people who he like has a moral not moral disagreement, but just like a social disagreement with, but people who are like actively hurting other people.
They chose a couple good examples in Ventriloquist and Harley as like, we've seen that those two people are not like murderous, horrific monsters like some of the other villains have been. But then you also did Scarecrow, who tries to like poison the water supply and like murder the whole city and all this stuff, and like put Batman on a path to like going completely insane and losing his mind and blah blah blah. And it's just like, oh, you know, maybe you could have gone with like Two-Face or something, like he's having a good day or something, you know. I don't know. I guess he's murderous too, but still, just the like those two stuck out to me as like, you want to feel compassion for them because you know that they're not as bad of people as some of the other inmates are. And there's, if he's torturing, like, leave him alone. It's Harley Quinn and Ventriloquist. It's okay. Come on. Yeah. All Ventriloquist wanted to do was drop Batman on some pointy mannequin hands. What's wrong with it?
I mean, I guess it's all about like mitigation of damages, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have people who like, okay, like Scarecrow, like was shitty and he's tried to harm people, but if like he's locked away, probably doesn't need to be electrocuted just for your jollies. What power? What is it? Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, that is what it is. There'll be an episode of Superman called Absolute Power.
Oh no! Is it going to corrupt somebody? Absolutely.
Lockup. No. Lockup returns to try to fight Superman.
So let's try to talk about non-political things, because there's a lot here that like, man, Dan does know how to make a thing happen, doesn't he?
Yeah, we got a bunch of rain again in this episode, like with Riddler's reform, which I noticed this time was like degraded the quality of the image when it was happening for some reason, just a bit. Like,
I didn't notice that.
The Blu-ray sharpness was like halved whenever there was rain on screen. I don't know what's up with that.
Weird.
Maybe that was some part of the what fuck George Lucas remaster. I was like, get my brain in the right place. We don't have what's underneath, or something. I have no idea, but. But yeah, lots of really good visual stuff, lots like shadow work, and everyone's colors
at
pop
the beginning
really well.
when Lyle walks out of the police station, I'm presuming, and like the shadows were super heavy on this.
The camera
and there's a camera flash coming from the side of him that the shadow was on, and so like for that flash to eliminate the shadow and like reveal some detail, and the shadow comes back as it goes away, I was just like, oh my god, that's such like that is so accurate and so cool and like so unnecessary, but like, man, that was awesome.
When they try for that kind of stuff, it really shows. And then every scene had something like that, like some notable visual, like, whoa, cool thing. Like even the very next scene, he's just sitting in his living room watching TV. Like every light is off. There's just like sunset light coming through the window behind him. And then he like opens his eyes and his eyes are just like lit up in the darkness.
Yeah. He's just like a silhouette with eyeballs.
I guess he blamed some lady on being the vocal cords of the other people that he doesn't like, like putting it out there. But I don't know.
I mean, it goes to show how, again, to use the term misguided, his knowledge base is, because like, you know what? A reporter, they're not actually the ones writing the stories. The editors, the person who maybe needs to talk
Jack
to
Ryder
first.
And he's going, Summer, is this right? Am I supposed to be kidnapped? I don't know about this.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Dr. Bartholomew again. We haven't seen him since Dreams in Darkness, which is where Batman's in a straitjacket in Arkham, and he's like, "Oh,
it's been a while.
You must be fucking crazy, Batman."
Yeah,
it's been forever since he's been around.
You must be fucking crazy, Batman.
Unlike normal Batman, you're a fucking Batman. Yeah, good stuff all around. Music was pretty good. There was a even like it was the very last part of the like fight scene, but just Batman opening his belt to like beep boop the bat boat to come over.
Beep boop the bat boat?
Yeah, beep boop the bat boat. There's the subtitle for you. Just that, like the music there felt very like almost like a music you'd hear in like a series finale. Like it was very like this is the last episode kind of music. Well, no, it was just emotional. It was
I guess triumphant isn't the right word. I'm not
final
going to say,
feeling.
But like, yeah, there's a word there, and we don't know it.
We don't know what that is.
Comment in and let us know the word.
Oh, you know what? I just realized.
What?
Detective Bull Lock. Was he really locked up the whole time? I like when he's on the roof. Like, took me 15 minutes just to hit the stupid button, and you're like, "Good thing I have a giant digger." It was like, what did you hit it with? You just like do your Pilates long enough that you just fling your leg out and hit it. I don't know. I spit my toothpick at it hard enough that. Yeah. So we've had all these like dong yang, like back to back, and yet some of the episodes are like really different looking than the other ones.
Yeah.
I feel like there must be multiple teams at Dong Yang like simultaneously working on these or something. This one looked like it was the same team as House and Garden, the Poison Ivy, Plant Clone, Cactus Boys episode.
I could see that. Because
there was a lot of like Commissioner Gordon and Bruce Wayne both had the same kind of like almost bigger chins than normal. Bruce Wayne had scleras in his eyes, the whites of his eyes, stuff like that I was picking up on, like, oh, it's the House and Garden people. And also Batman had just kind of random shots where he'd have extra cowl highlights than he normally, like there was some shot, the only time it looked bad, like sometimes it was like, oh cool, like a rim light or like an extra highlight on his head or something. The only time it looked bad was I don't remember when it was in the episode, but he looked like away from something past the camera, and he had just big blue eyebrows, like like in the cowl, like extra eyebrow lines. Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say this is a good episode because like it is really well made, but it like makes me feel so gross and like it makes me like hurt inside that it's not as cartoonish of a villain as usual. Like, oh yeah, like the Joker and Penguin and stuff, like, yeah, these are not real people. These people can't possibly actually physically exist and stuff like that. But this guy's just like, hey, I know some people like that.
I know.
That's too bad.
For me, like, I tend to, and I think I've talked about this before, like I tend to use media as like escapism from the world.
Right.
And even when like the Joker is being his worst and he's being abusive, or even when Poison Ivy's like trying to stop the billionaires from like poisoning the planet or whatever,
yeah,
you know, I'm still like, yeah, cartoon, whatever, it's good. This just felt like a recreation of a news report that we've heard 100 100,000
like
times
you wouldn't,
now.
yeah. The way that things have gone the last couple of years, you would not be surprised to hear like such and such put on a costume made of chains and locked the mayor in an old Navy ship or whatever. Like you'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, not quite as literal like dude in costume, but like
yeah. It might as well have
basic
been.
plot. Yeah.
If they were wearing that costume, it wouldn't have been surprising. Yeah.
And so like to say, I guess this is jumping ahead a little bit.
The Bat-Wagon.
It's like it's an incredibly good episode.
Yeah.
I don't think I could put it on my top 10 list.
No, we'll
get
not
to that
one
later.
Yeah, because the top 10. Well, yeah, we will.
Like it's like a perfect. Like the episode is incredible, and the writing and the art and everything is amazing on it. But like it just hurts.
Yeah, you don't want to return to it. Like fuck yeah, we're gonna watch the top 10.
No,
you're like please don't. Yeah. Well, and what you're saying about the escapism thing, I usually agree with that. Like, I don't get mad or anything. Like I'm not like. I don't run to Twitter to be upset about whenever, like, oh, the Black Panther movie had some sort of social commentary and it, like, leave that out of the movie. I want to go to a movie to get away from that shit or whatever. But, like, this was, like, the whole episode was that because it was, like, it was a commentary, very, very obvious one, a very in-your-face one. And it was kind of like, yeah, good, like, make that person the bad guy. But yeah, you don't ever want to watch it again. Like, it like makes your skin crawl and it's too close to home and all this stuff. Yeah.
It's an important story. Like it's an important lesson for everybody to be aware of. And yeah, it's kind of like watching The Pianist. Like I love that movie. It's such a good movie. I haven't watched it in probably a decade, and I have no urge to watch it again.
Yeah,
it's like everybody, you should absolutely watch this movie.
Yeah.
If you're like
once,
if it's raining and you really want to cry and you don't have to do anything for the next day or two, like definitely watch the movie.
I got my mom that movie. Because of like,
You're
piano player.
What
I
an
didn't
asshole,
know anything
dude.
about it. I didn't know anything about it. Like, guy plays piano. Must be good. And then, I heard her watching it in the other room, and I've never heard her watch it again.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the cast of this here episode?
Yes, I do.
All right. Every single person except Lockup is a returning voice actor. Kevin Conroy as Batman, Lauren Lester as Robin, Robert Stanzo as Detective. Hola! Yes. I'm gonna let it go for a while.
Yeah, okay. I'm here for this. It's a good palate cleanser.
Okay, that's enough. Bob Hastings is Commissioner Gordon. Get up! We need every person needs to have a song. Lloyd Bachner as Mayor Hamilton Hill. He gets his first name in the credits this time. Mary Devon as some lady. Richard Dysart as Dr. Bartholomew. George Zunza as ventriloquist / Scarface. Henry Pollack II as Scarecrow. Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn. And then finally we have Bruce Weitz, something like that, as Lockup. So he had several things. Nothing that is like, he was the guy from the whoa, but I'll tell you this stuff anyway. He's most known for 254 episodes of General Hospital as Anthony Zakara from 2007 to 2012.
Oh, he was the guy from
Oh my God, Anthony
Hospital.
Segura. He's also in 144, whatever you're doing, 144 episodes of Hill Street Blues, a show I've never heard of, as Sergeant Mick Belker from 1981 to 1987, which he also reprised in 1982 in an SNL sketch. Stuart Cayley in Deep Impact. Have you seen Deep Impact?
I think so.
Morgan Freeman's the president, and there's a big old asteroid coming to make a tidal wave. Yeah,
it was the Apocalypse Now, like following in that wake, right?
Armageddon is what
Armageddon.
Yes. It was that Vietnam movie about the asteroid. I knew what you meant. Yeah. He played a character named Dr. Campbell in Dino Croc. Which I've never heard of or seen, but I thought was funny. It's like a fucking, what's it called? Sharknado kind of looking thing.
Hell yeah.
He had bit parts on Happy Days, Walker Texas Ranger, Quincy M.E., Matlock, The Twilight Zone, NYPD Blue, Lois and Clark, ER, Grey's Anatomy, and Real Monsters.
Ooh, fuck yeah.
He will be back as another more major character later.
Okay.
Also, he was a character named the Mad Bomber on, say it with me, Duckman.
The Man Private Dick. Dear God, of course he was.
Yeah, I liked that he was a character named the Mad Bomber also.
Yeah.
Beware of /the/Gray, whatever. Goes.
Bomber.
Let's do trivs.
Give me the trivs.
When Lockup is first seen kidnapping Summer Gleason, his mask completely covers his mouth. However, for the rest of the episode, his mouth is visible.
I didn't like that artistic choice, but it was a choice.
It was like, how are we seeing his mouth? Is he like stuffed part of the mask into his mouth and just glued it to his lips so he can like open and close? That's perfect. Okay.
He got real sticky lips.
Damn it. Is that the title? After putting Mayor Hill in his cell, Lockup rattles the bars with his nightstick, but the sound effect is missing. Did you notice that as it happened?
Didn't notice that.
I wouldn't have caught it if not for knowing the trivs, but he just like runs it across the bars and nothing happens. When Mayor Hill
is felt nightstick.
Yeah. When Mayor Hill is first put in the cell with Commissioner Gordon, he has handcuffs on. After Gordon falls to the ground after the bars are electrocuted, Hill helps him up and he is free of the handcuffs.
Oh my God.
No, Hank. He just got out like an escape artist. He was trained by Zatara the magician, Mayor Hill was.
You know what? This just goes to show that maybe Arkham isn't actually that bad. And these people are just people are really good at getting out of situations.
Yeah. Even Lockup couldn't keep handcuffs on the mayor.
Yeah. And he's not he's a crook, but he's not a villain.
He's a crook. According to writer Robert N. Skier on Batman the Animated Podcast, the episode's original title was Cage Without a Key, a double entendre for where Bolton wanted to put the prisoners, as well as the state of his own mind.
Oh.
Robert N. Skier has stated that the line, "Another fine villain made possible by a grant from the Wayne Foundation," is his favorite line of dialogue he's ever written.
Honestly, that one hit pretty hard, too.
You went like, oh, shit, Robin, or something. Yeah.
I really liked Robin in this episode.
Yeah, except for when he's like, he figures out in like 3 seconds that the random number must be a boat.
That was just one hell of a... I don't even know if that's a plot device.
It's no longer the button at all. Are we allowed to use... Yeah, plot device. I don't know. It's just it was just a like, we got to move this along kind of scene or whatever.
Yeah, it's like they're like looking at this like box to the side of his bed. Do we ever see what's in it?
I don't think so. There's just a box labeled with a number.
It's like F85, and then Robin's like, F85, what could that be?
It's a boat.
It's the license plate of a big fucking boat, right? That's obviously what it is.
Well, that was also like a move the plot along thing was like, I feel like they just wanted to have the showdown in a big boat or something for some reason.
Because they wanted to reenact. So this, not only did this movie predict like the current state of like political affairs, it also predicted Titanic.
But years before the movie came out. Well, it was just like, they must have wanted to have that set piece or something, because they kind of forced in like why is there a boat? Well, when Two-Face and I were building a prison in the first Poison Ivy episode, they had to put all the prisoners somewhere in the meantime, so they put them on this boat, and here we go to that boat.
Wait a minute, didn't that actually...
Oh, you're talking about like in real life, would they do that between prisons? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
They do make an Alcatraz joke in this or whatever, so I don't know.
Did they?
Yeah, when that Robin's like, oh, great decor, like early Alcatraz or something.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
That.
That's right.
Yeah. When Batman and Robin discover Lyle Bolton was a security chief aboard a prison ship, Robin says, well, blow me down, a phrase made famous by cartoon character Popeye the Sailor Man. Which you were just, well, blow me. Well, gee willikers, man. Harley's line, no, nada, ixnay, zero, zilch, bubkiss, nothing, was lifted from Joker's dialogue, zero, zip, zilch, nada, during the auction scene in Harlequinade. Paul Dini and Alan Burnett showed the tape from the recording session to Robert N. Skier and Marty Eisenberg when they were pitched the story idea for Lockup. So you just stole the line, I guess.
Sweet. Might as well. It's a good line.
Yeah. The naval vessel USS Halsey was presumably named for famed U.S. Navy Admiral Frederick Halsey of World War II. Real vessels were given the name Halsey. However, this ship's prefix, F-84, indicates the vessel was a frigate, which the real vessels never were. I guess the F is for frigate. That's what they say in Battlestar Galactica or something. I don't know.
Can F is for frigate
F
be
is
the
for
subtitle?
Frigate. God damn it, there's so many good options. Frigate? What is that? Along with Harley Quinn and Renee Montoya, Lockup was one of the few original characters created from the series who were incorporated into the mainstream comics continuity. In fact, Lockup's incorporation actually preceded that of Harley, the most prominent example of such characters, with Robin number 24 in January 1996. This does not count Harley's first comic appearance in the BTAS spin-off The Batman Adventures, issue number 12 from September 1993. So he was just the first BTAS original guy to show up in like normal comics. Per the same interview on Batman the Animated Podcast, Robert N. Skier has noted many inspirations he drew from while writing this episode. He originally wanted to name Lockup Deadbolt, with his real name being Jason Bolton, after Jason Bolt from Here Comes the Brides, which I am not familiar with. No idea what that is. Nope. Sorry, Dan, listening to this. The idea for Batman and Lockup's fight on a sinking ship was inspired by the Charles Dickens novel Great Expectations.
Great Expectations.
Yeah.
That's a Jurassic 5 song you should listen to.
I was gonna be like, is this a song from the novel? Lockup's personality was highly inspired by Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver. That's the Robert De Niro guy. You love talking to me? With the scene where he tips over the TV being lifted directly from that film. I've seen that once.
Oh, that's why it's familiar.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that once in like middle school, and I don't remember much from it other than the famous parts. Multiple changes were made to this episode from script to screen. This is my last bit here. This is one of 2 episodes of Batman the Animated Series that begins with Batman and Robin escorting the apprehended Scarecrow back to Arkham Asylum. The other one was Harley's Holiday. Oh. And he's like, good evening, child. Blah, 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 like the original pitch for this episode would have seen the Mad Hatter being taken to Arkham as opposed to the Scarecrow. Skier commented on that, saying, not the Mad Hatter, you bring the Scarecrow back because he's the master of fear, and if this guy's afraid, you know that whatever's inside there is going to be the most frightening thing ever.
That was absolutely the right call.
Yeah. They came back with, well, yeah, but we want to work with Roddy McDowell, the voice actor for Mad Hatter. Convinced by that logic, Skier went to work writing the scene for the Mad Hatter. However, it was changed to the Scarecrow when the script editors went in for rewrites.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, definitely the right move. Right off the bat, it was like, whoa, what the fuck? Why is Scarecrow so scared? In the original script, when Robin went to investigate Lyle Bolton's apartment, he walked into the criminal's closet, which slammed shut behind him, trapping him there, leading to him quipping, this will make a great headline. Boy Wonder gets outsmarted by closet before exploding his way out. That's a good Robin
This is
line.
a great Robin episode.
It is, yeah. Even the deleted scenes.
The deleted bits.
I wish he got himself locked in that box or something. What's in here? Crawls inside. This is big enough for my body for some reason.
But the exact opposite happened, and instead we get him opening a door that shouldn't be there on the underside of a ship.
I think this door is the way out, and it goes directly to the outside of the ship for some reason. There was some other good quip of his in this. I don't know. Whatever. The original script contained a sequence in which Lockup started to piece together the connection between Batman and Bruce Wayne. The two of them are fighting, and Lockup looks up at Batman and goes, you think I don't know your secret? You think I don't know the relationship between you and Bruce Wayne? He's funding you. I know he's funding you the same way he's funding me to keep them locked up. He's funding you to catch them. And that got cut, says Skier, but I love the idea that this guy was so twisted that he could actually figure out what Bruce Wayne was doing, but not make the vital connection that they're the same guy.
You know what? I think that leads some credence to what you were saying earlier, saying that like it just kept cutting back to him being like, we were in like
we could have been best buddies. Yeah.
Like, so they probably had to literally reuse one of those
replace it
lines,
or something. Yeah. I would have preferred that moment. I mean, maybe you would have saved 10 seconds or something. I don't know. There's always reasons for these things, but
truth.
That's all the trivs.
So that's a good. Thank you.
Wow. You're welcome. Keen effects. We talked about the flash on the face.
We talked about the flash. We talked about just like the
Flash
general
was in this
coloring and shit.
Yeah.
It was so quick though. You almost didn't see it.
Yeah. It was like lightning. They were fighting at the boat. The flash went past.
Yeah, that's canon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just coloring and everything in general, like people's movements. Like this was just, it was so solid visually.
Yeah, there was not I think it was just like, what was the episode we watched right before this? Batgirl Returns. That was also just a very, like, nothing looked bad in this episode kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was just what this was.
And that was the last produced one?
Yeah, final produced episode.
Yeah. Which checks out. Like, they've got it.
They've got it perfect, and no DCAU episode will ever suck again. Batman's usefulness in this episode.
Pretty damn low.
He didn't really do much other than he off-screen defeated Lyle Bolton in the water.
Yeah, this was like more of like a Robin getting shit done.
It's almost. I wonder if that's part of the whole deal of like, oh, Batman and Robin now in the title. Robin's gotta occasionally be better or something. I don't know. But.
Yeah, it's a good question. Does Bruce Wayne's usefulness in like tripping
he counts as Batman? Yeah.
Okay. So that ticks it up because he kicked over that chair that made Lyle Bolton trip, so he couldn't continue attacking everybody that he wanted to.
I also appreciated that it was very well storyboarded in that, like, there's kind of a ceiling top-down shot of Lockup, like, marching slowly toward the villains, and you see Bruce Wayne kind of straighten up and put his hands behind his back like he's prepping to do some sneaky little thing, and then in the next shot he like whoopsie and just kicks over the chair. Like, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. Like, everything had a good connection there.
Yes, indeed.
That happened a lot with the fight scenes and stuff too. So I guess if we're counting Bruce Wayne as Batman usefulness, I'll give him a solid 8. 8 smoke bombs that can hide your entire body long enough to put your bat suit on out of 10.
Okay. Jamie, I think this could be like the biggest divide we've had in a long time.
Oh, okay. I think it was good. But...
I'm going to give him 4.
Oh my goodness, that's half of my score.
Yeah. I'm going to give him 4. What are those things called? Like
locks,
car boot, like
oh yeah.
What is it called?
Batmobile, boots. I think, yeah, I think that's right.
On the tire,
because
Batman didn't pay his parking tickets out of 10.
Yeah, that was the other Robin line that was good.
That was great.
Yeah. Books or hip hop?
Because of the Jurassic 5 comment earlier, I'm going to say hip hop.
Yeah, that works. Top 10. Yes, no. See, are you required to out of? I don't know. It's so tough because I was thinking that we've already talked about this a little bit, but yeah, I was thinking that the whole episode was like, this is top 10 worthy, but I hate it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, yes, it's absolutely top 10 worthy.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it.
It's
like top 5, 6. Like, this is such a solid episode, and it's like if we hadn't experienced everything that we experienced since like 2016.
If this was 1994 and we're watching it when it came out or something.
If this was 2015, we'd be like, hell top 10.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Well, but would it have affected you as much? Like, would you have had as like, oh man, this is just like XYZ?
I can't say.
Yeah.
I know, but I can't say.
Yeah, I'm not going to put it on there. My bottom couple are Batgirl Returns, Man Who Killed Batman, Riddler's Reform, Second Chance. Like, I don't think it's better than any of those. In what we're talking about with, like, man, can't wait to watch that episode again. So good, so great. This is like, it's really well made. Everything is very polished and good, but it's
so great.
Yeah.
It's so great. I don't know why. I feel like probably because like I'll be thinking about it and I know I'll be thinking about it, or I'll probably actively be trying to put it out of my brain.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, is my number 10 still Pav?
Yes.
Like that's one that I can look back on and be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Good episode. Yeah. And this is like, wow, it's a great episode, but like I think the payoff at the end, like, yeah, homeboy We never hear from him again. He's locked away like in solitary confinement forever, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like, God, it's just not the, like, why couldn't he have been one of the people that like Batman obviously killed?
Well, yeah, because he falls off of the ship, and it's almost going to be like if anyone deserved, like any villain deserved to die or whatever, and then he just off of a like inflated life raft or something. You like, come on, Dan, kill him, as if like Dan is to blame for anything.
Dan knows what he did.
How do you sleep at night with lockup?
I mean, to be fair though, going with that same line, like Dan, I think I said it earlier, like knows what he's doing. Like this is just it's such a compelling story. Mm-hmm. It's so good. But it's like too good. I can't deal with it.
There will be other DCAU episodes that have similar. There's definitely a lot of like we'll have some really top tier apocalyptic villains that are like, oh, this is fascism.
Like Apocalypse?
No, that's from the X-Men, actually.
Oh, right, right.
But that'll be like, oh, this is fascism as a person kind of a thing. But it's never as like, the episode is about fascism or something.
Well, that's the thing is like, this might have been metaphorical at the time, but it became our reality. It became literal.
By reality.
Ah, there he goes. Watch by reality on YouTube or something.
Something like that. When you're listening to this in 20, I dare not say. I bite myself in the ass. All right, we're gonna do Yoppie Mail now. When we come back, I will tell Brian the next episode's title, and he tries to guess what it is. It's always perfect guess. He always gets it right.
Yeah. That yacht. At one small extra yacht. Put it over.
We dropped.
What we drop, Kimmy?
Our weekly yachts.
Oh yeah, those.
Into the comment box. There sure was a lot.
Now Jamie's mad.
Too bad we're wrong.
At least I am.
Just Dylan Paula.
All right. This is from Jordan Newman, GCN Musical Minutes. It says GCN featuring my girlfriend Miranda. I wonder
Miranda?
I wonder if this is Miranda as some lady. I can only hope.
You're listening to GCN, Gotham City News with Jack Ryder. Tonight's top story, our very own Summer Gleason was kidnapped by new villain Lockup, and she's here to tell us a little bit more about the ordeal.
Thanks, Jack. What started out as a classy outing with a certain wealthy bachelor turned out to be the worst date ever when I was kidnapped by former Arkham security guard Lyle Bolton. Turns out Bruce Wayne is a magician because he disappeared in a cloud of smoke at the first sign of danger. I don't think you'll be getting a second date, Mr. Wayne. Later on, Batman and Robin were able to rescue me and the other captives and still declined an interview. Suffice it to say, that was some scary shit. Now, over to the music.
I like the music in this episode. I didn't find anything super standout, but the final battle with the propeller, lots of dramatic music, cool stuff. Never apologize for loving your fandom and try to stay optimistic.
We do try. We have been trying to stay optimistic and
it's
failing
not always
a little
working,
bit now.
But Jordan, I'm gonna have to demand that we get more of that.
I was just about to say we need some lady there more often. That's great. I really like the idea that Summer's like, honk, honk, oh, fuck, someone help me, please. And then just at the last second sees Bruce go like, whoop, time to leave and drop a smoke bomb. Yeah. And then just gone. Like, oh, actually, I'm just going to go away now.
But like, okay, like quick aside on that one.
Yeah.
The dude who was standing by the phone at the front desk.
Yes.
The dude in full view of Summer being like kidnapped.
Just
the dude
there.
standing by the phone that Bruce just hung up. Bruce, he goes 6 feet from that guy, crouches down, presses a smoke button, and then Batman.
There were also people running around in the background, I think. Like, a thing is happening outside. We better leave. And then he's just like, and becomes Batman.
Yeah, and so that was my thing, is like, this dude is presumably standing 6 feet away.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne crouches down with his briefcase. Batman stands up and demolishes a door.
Blows up a door with his little red dildo.
And the dude's like, I hope Bruce Wayne's okay, but Batman's here.
Yeah. This is from Max Farr, who I believe is a new write-in. The lengths I went for btas. Hiya, Jim Jam and Brother Butt Plug. I thought you'd appreciate this tale.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, it says brother butt plug. Living in New Zealand. Oh, we have can we write Max Farr is New Zealander? Instead of, I don't know what the hell it's called. What is it? New Zealandian?
Is New Zealander.
Is New Zealander. Not A. Living in New Zealand, a lot of the btas/DCAU was never made readily accessible except for Volume 1 of btas on DVD that I found in a bargain bin in 2011 at a local chain store called The Warehouse, kinda like Target.
Amazing.
After Googling the series, I found out that the episodes went far, Batman, beyond this measly volume of episodes. He wrote that. Measly volume of episodes, and I was desperate to find more. I couldn't find them anywhere. This is 2011. Google didn't have movies to download, and things like the Apple Store/Netflix and DVDs were or are regionized, so they're inaccessible, even if I ordered off eBay from the U.S. Whilst on a family holiday in Australia, I had found that the Aussie Apple Store had the entire btas run available for purchase at a whopping $1.20 per episode. At 12, yeah, that's unfortunate, actually. At 12 years old, I had to spend every cent to my name from my paper route job and pay the horrendous prices for hotel Wi-Fi to download them. In doing so, I'd chained myself to the Aussie Apple Store forever, or so I thought. Fast forward about 8 years, and they finally release a New Zealand Blu-ray of the entire run, and I was finally able to convert back to the New Zealand Apple Store, but losing those digital episodes forever. Goodbye, Australian episodes. You will be missed. I guess you've never had these problems, huh? Well, I hope Batman just had an Australian accent in this version of the show.
That is such amazing dedication. Yeah. I absolutely applaud you, and you're just like a primo level fan. That's incredible.
Go those lengths. He ends it with, "Can I be the official Kiwi of the pod? Cheers,
Yep.
Max. P.S. Australians suck."
Oh,
starting a turf war here.
I just grabbed my writing implement to put that on the wall, but you're gonna have to refrain from.
Yeah, we don't do that here. But yeah, you can be the official Kiwi of the pod.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't write that down, though. This is from Dylan Pollock. Lockup, or I would have gotten away with it hadn't it been for you snowflakes.
God damn it, Dylan.
Here we go.
It's time for the Thoughts of the Week from Dylan Pollock on Lockup. Or I thought he sounded familiar, and then I realized I can't say it because of the spoiler for Brian.
Correct.
So Lockup feels like when Paul Ryan said he was a fan of Rage Against the Machine. Bro, what do you think you are? Like, you are not any better. There has to be an in-between for supervillains constantly escaping from Arkham and, as Lockup says, beating them within an inch of their misbegotten lives. Yeah. I would hope there's an in-between there.
Yeah.
Also, another Lockup thing I love, permissive liberal media. Is anyone else picturing Lockup listening to Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson being super worried about the woke socialists and non-existent groomers?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in case it hasn't been mentioned, can we talk about Robin saying, and I quote, "Well, blow me down." All right, let me get to the question of the week, James' favorite part.
No further comments.
What's a show you've never seen but really want to get around to? I know Mad Men and Better Call Saul are supposed to be great, but I'm too busy watching Batman the Animated Series over and over again so that James and Brian can be asked important questions. Thank you, and let me know.
Buddy.
Better Call Saul's on my list for sure, and only because I keep being like, I gotta rewatch Breaking Bad first, even though everyone just keeps saying like, you don't have to. I'm like, but I do. I really do. The ADHD won't
you don't
let
have
me.
to.
Oh, whoopsie.
I mean, yeah, funny enough, as Dylan mentioned, Mad Men is I've seen one episode.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend just always like, we gotta, do you want to start Mad Men on? Do you want to start Mad Men?
Right.
Like, we got 4 other shows going right now. Like, I really don't want to start another TV show.
Yeah.
But we watched an episode, and I was like, okay, I'm hooked, but only if there's like redeeming arcs for these characters. Yeah. And she kind of gave me that like emoji face.
Whoopsie.
With the like big,
big teeth. Yeah.
So I want to see it, but I'm kind of a little hesitant. But I'll say Mad Men.
I have Love, Death, and Robots on my list.
That's on mine too.
Yeah, because I've seen clips and every, they're all different art styles and all that kind of stuff. And so everything just looks so good and I want to watch it so bad, but then I just don't make time for it.
You should just watch like Gravity Falls.
I very much should watch Gravity Falls. Watching those couple episodes of Gumball at your house a few days ago was like, oh yeah, this is good.
Dude, that show is excellent.
Yeah. Which I told you in person, but I hate that the same like era of Cartoon Network had a show with a gumball machine as a main character, and that's not the Gumball show.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize on behalf of Cartoon Network.
Yeah, you should be. Oh, Rings of Power is another one I want to watch, the Lord of the Rings prequel show or whatever. Okay. But I haven't gotten to it. This is from Scarlowy1. Jump on the Mechanic Wagon Season 2, Episode 13. Go!
Hello, listener, and welcome to Jump on the Mechanic Wagon. I'm your host, Scarlowy1. In this episode, I will tell you about Season 2, Episode 13 of Earl, the animated series, Locked Out.
Oh!
One day, Earl went to get into his DeLorean, for he discovered that he had locked his keys in the car. He screamed to the sky, "This is the liberal media's fault! I'm not sure how, but it is!" So he had to take the bus. While on the bus, he saw the Penguin and Mr. Wing sitting across from him.
Oh, no.
The Penguin asked, "Do I know you?" Earl quickly replied, "No, you do not." The end.
42
this
minutes.
episode takes place at the same time as the Season 1 episode where the Penguin takes the bus.
Yeah.
You can tell because the last scene is the exact same, including some dust in between the cells. Anyway, see you next week. Same TV time, same poopy channel.
You can tell because the same thing happened. This is from Scotty Cameron. Lock Him Up. Hey, Yoppie Dudes, great show as always. Thank you very much. Lockup is a good episode and gives Batman a foe who's a dark mirror image of him. I do love that Lockup has just an abundance of traps at his disposal, even to take some lady's entire car. Where did Bolton get all of that? Yeah, I was thinking that before.
That's a great question.
I almost, I knew, what he looked like, what he could or couldn't do, obviously, but whenever it's 6 months later and the first thing we see that has to do with locks and what he's doing is some lady's car locks go down, and I'm like, did he develop lock telekinesis in those 6 months somehow? He got so mad at the liberal media that his brain expanded to be able to move just locks. Displaying Batman's compassionate side is a nice contrast from the Burton films, Batman who was basically the Punisher in a Batman costume. That's why I was never the biggest fan of Keaton's Batman, because he was a killer, and to me, Batman doesn't kill. Yeah, that's a common complaint. To answer Dylan's question, an actor who I want to see reprise an iconic role is Thomas Jane as the Punisher. I thought it would be nice to see him play the role again. Since Jane is in the fan film business, he doesn't have to wait for Hollywood to give him the call. Also, Elia Baskin needs to play Mr. Ditkovich again. That's the guy in the Spider-Man movies. Give me rent. Where is the rent? J.K. Simmons already proved that the Raimi films don't need to be revived to bring back casting from those movies. Bring back Mr. Ditkovich, Marvel Studios. Also, to answer Mark's question, I'm looking forward to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning and to see what crazy death-defying stunt Tom Cruise does for our entertainment. Yeah, I've given up on... I watched all of the Mission Impossible movies over the last several years just so I could watch the most recent one, which has Henry Cavill in it as the bad guy. And then I watched that and went, that wasn't worth it at all. It was a not terrible movie, but... This is from Dino-Faced Individual. Lockup Hench Review. I couldn't think of an actual henchman/woman/non-binary to write our review today, so it's high time I implement an idea I've been thinking about for using for a bit, a completely random bystander you may or may not have seen. Review submitted by Bartholomew Buttles, the waiter. I guess that's the guy with the phone, probably. Just because my establishment attracts villains and would-be kidnapping victims of said villains does not make me complicit in their nefarious activities. But this is the only review site willing to host Gotham Grill. I suppose I'll just settle for this. I am Bartholomew Buttles, currently the proprietor and only server in Gotham Grill. Sadly, between the group of ne'er-do-wells who played poker a few years back and now Lockup kidnapping a reporter, I'm pretty sure our reputation has taken enough of a hit that I'm about to be proprietor, server, and the only chef. Maybe I should just move to Metropolis with my cousin Walter Waitles. He's a butler for a businessman, you see. Lockup receives a 0 out of 5 Yelp stars from me. It's because of him I'm about to rename my restaurant to Got Ham Grill to escape the bad publicity.
Oh.
I do I remember seeing it saying Gotham Grill and thinking couldn't I come up with a more creative name than restaurant, place where food is? Come on, Yappy Foods, it's right there. Why haven't
It's
we
right
seen
there.
Yoppie Foods again?
Softball that in.
Tip Apricot, Contemplations on Lockup. This is pulling everyone out for Lockup. Before my message today, I must preach about the delicacy I talked about in my last comment, one that I unfortunately sent too late. Yeah, I didn't even see it. Sorry. But for those of us going into summer, sorry, Australians, and those that claim to be, you should try carbonated ice cream. That's right. You may not be able to have fuzzy milk, but you can have fuzzy cream. Just blend up some dry ice into a fine powder and mix with your ice cream base of choice. It's really weird, but also so tasty.
What?
I suggest lemon ice cream, but that, of course, is just a fruit's opinion. Now on to the message.
Hello, we are back for Contemplations on Lockup.
Hello.
First off, I'm interested to see the ups and downs of either talking head on about the politics in your commentary on this one or trying to avoid some of it, because, oh boy, does this one still hit hard and current. I really love this episode. I think it has really smooth and expressive animation, and it's fun to see it tackling the effect of intense punitive justice systems on the incarcerated, and the fact that there is, in fact, a line for humane treatment. That even if the rest of the universe we see with heroes is structured around punitive and carceral forms of justice and morality, this episode did dig into some really intense roots and places stuff can go. Lockup is a good villain. He's a super cop, a violent conservative who takes his punishing of people into his own hands and believes in conspiracy and weak progressives. Again, it hits hard for current day, especially the make this town safe again line, even though that was no way they could have known. There were also a lot of really good one-liner jokes and moments, like Dick poking fun at the fact that the Wayne Foundation is involved in a lot of origins, or Harvey having to deal with bats. Overall, really fun episode, and I'll see you next week. Also, everyone should try fizzy ice cream. It's really fucking good. You should try it.
I have to just put dry ice in a blend. Yeah, okay. I'll
Tip
follow these
Apricot,
instructions.
I expect a DM soon with a place in Big Bus
I
to get
expect a
fizzy ice
package
cream.
to show up on Brian's doorstep full of melted fizzy ice cream. This is from
KM.
Nice.
The subject line is Godfrey. Hi, Jim Jam and Brother Broderick. I am KM. I was planning something with voicemail, but I don't have time now, so I'll just write the things I had wanted to say. Also, I just realized this is a great long-term build-up. Probably I will keep writing these instead of voicing them myself. I will roleplay as G. Gordon Godfrey, a news anchor who hates supervillains and vigilantes. Obviously a cheaper version of J. Jonah Jameson and a reference to G. Gordon Liddy, but maybe something more? This is first week, so it will be a bit longer than usual. James, please read the next part with your best news anchor voice, preferably with a Tim Curry voice. Yeah, so this is a character that we will see in Justice League, so it'll be fucking forever from now. And, in the Young Justice cartoon, which isn't in this continuity, he's voiced by Tim Curry with like an Australian accent or something. So I have to try to do this, I guess. Welcome to our first episode of The Godfrey Show. I'm your host, G. Gordon Godfrey. This is terrible. This is the show where I try to show you, the people, why mass vigilantes is a bad idea. I will start with Batman, biggest masked menace of the Gotham City. Some of you might say, he's a good guy. He defeats villains, but he is the one who creates them. Someone who dresses as a bat and beats up people being around makes it easier for other people to do a similar thing. You feel less stupid if you're the only one who does not do a silly thing. This both encourages villains like Riddler and more aggressive Batman copycats like Phantasm and this new guy, Lockup. I even think Lockup is more sensible than Batman. At least he tries to keep criminals imprisoned. Media tries to make him look guilty by focusing on more sympathetic criminals like Harley Quinzel and Arnold Wesker. But have you asked what does the family of a person who's killed by Joker on his 7th escape from Arkham thinks? System is broken, and Batman beats up a guy who tries to fix it, who tries to make what Batman does stick, because if Lockup succeeds, he can't keep beating up people he deems as villains. I'm G. Gordon Godfrey, and I will stand against everyone that tries to overcome their traumas by beating up people they see as morally inferior.
Too close to home.
Interesting. This is a personality I'm not too fond of being, but impersonating her. But yeah, I guess that'll continue. We'll see. This is from the Bee Who Buzzes, Yoppie Mail. Hello. I hope this made it in time for Lockup. It did. I accidentally forgot to send an email last episode. So about Lockup, in 3 words, kinky, 1 note. That qualifies, right? Anyway, yeah, he was a little bit BDSM outfit. Anyway, I enjoy Batgirl Returns a lot. This is one of my favorite incarnations of her, specifically this production of the show, not for weird art reasons, but more for the variety of design. If you had uncolored, bald headshots of Barbara Gordon, Veronica Vreeland, and Poison Ivy and asked which is which, you could not identify them.
Agreed.
In the later style, it's more difficult. Oh, you could identify them. In the later style, it's more difficult to tell apart. Yeah, I don't know, but I think both. That and the men were so top-heavy, my action figures wouldn't stand up. I'll wrap it up here. Warm regards, the bee who buzzes. This is from No Face Jones. I think another new one here. Throwback to episode 72. What was episode 72? I don't remember.
Do you want me to check?
Second chance.
You beat me to it.
I beat you to it. Good morning, Brames and Giant. You may think I meant good. Oh, sorry. It says God morning. You may think I meant good morning, but you see it is in fact a God morning because our Lord and Savior Dylan Pollock, all hail, has bestowed upon me the revelation of a thinly veiled Freudian slip-up several episodes back. Quoth the Raven, "Whinst thou were divulging how one may contact the driver of the Bat-Wagon and his passenger." It's the really long email. At batwagonpod at gmail.com, not batwagonpod, it's just batwagonpod. That's the full email, that whole sentence I just said. At gmail.com, at gmail.com, ha 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 ha. That part was included too, at gmail.com, at gmail.com. The word paw is variously defined as interjection, used as an exclamation of disgust or belief. Exclamation, paw, is used in writing to represent the sound someone makes when showing disgust or contempt. Yeah, okay. Paw. I've seen that before. What this clearly reveals is that you resent the podcast, but have repressed this truth. I recommend counseling and therapy with one Dr. Hugo Strange, MD. And of course, put Jump on the Bat-Wagon back on hiatus while you recover from this tragic news. If you check yourself into the psych ward now, you could probably return to recording by May 2024. Best of luck. I said best of luck. You see, I have a Freudian slip again. Sock Puppet account number 69420. P.S. I counted every ha in y'all's laughter to ensure the email address transcription was as accurate to your episode 72 fancies as my feeble intellect might muster. Unfortunately, Gmail addresses can only be up to 30 characters long. PPS poo-poo S PPPS to sum up my thoughts of lockup in one word, paw. Good shit, dude.
That was masterful.
That was great. Yeah, I had opened up the email to just see all these copy pastes of the definitions, and I'm like, what am I getting into here? But that was good. All right. Comments on last episode on the Podtower YouTube channel. This is episode 78, Batgirl Returns, or Dr. Alltooth the Chemist. Ashley Tutchin, who is Australian. In regards to Batman's usefulness, keep in mind that neither Robin nor Batgirl would exist without him, so technically he was the driving force behind this episode. Perhaps the most useful thing Bats has ever done is the creation of his Bat interns, allowing him to enforce his will upon Gotham even from afar. I'm looking forward to Lockup, which is an interesting idea for a villain, especially when viewed through a modern lens. Yes, indeed.
Indeed.
Charles Motosierra. Regarding Lockup, always cool to get a story that reaffirms what Batman stands for. Go watch Batman is Compassionate, but not you, Brian. Yes. I might be completely mistaken, but Bolton really reminds me of Rorschach from Watchmen. And I wonder if that's what they were going for until they realized, wait, Rorschach fucking incinerates people. Let's just have Lock Guy, the guy who locks. Pretty obvious inspiration from The Punisher, too. Yeah, it is Rorschach.
I just kind of
Lock Guy, the guy who locks.
I want that to be like an inconsequential episode where Batman and Robin are looking for criminals, and there's just some dude next to
He's on the Gotham things.
He's on the Gotham Gate Bridge. And he's just and 37 and 38, and they walk by him and 39, and that's his only appearance.
Yeah, he doesn't do shit. Yeah. Also, Batman is really bad at hiding his identity. I can only imagine one of Gotham's 10 million citizens going, yeah, I saw Bruce Wayne trapped in a door, then he used a smoke screen, and then Batman was there. I hope he checked that no one was around. Lockup's design is really bad. Sorry, Dan. I don't know who designed him. I think they should have gone in the Tick's direction, fully embraced the Punisher knockoff look. Look up Big Shot from the Tick. I will later. Brian will right now. Not to get my politics into Jamie's DCAU, but you got to give Paul Dini some points for making a villain who's a former officer of the law keep screaming fucking woke media revolving doors all the way back in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh my God, he looks exactly like Big Shot.
Oh yeah,
it's Lyle Bolton and the Punisher in one.
Oh yeah, that's him. I think the criticism toward the U.S. prison system he brings is noble, but ultimately shallow because it's got to be a kids show. Paul writes way better criticism in Batman Arkham City, where he doesn't have to give a shit about the children. Banana Man says okay. Oh yeah. Return of the banana.
No way.
Scarlowy had just replied with a bunch of exploding head emojis.
Same.
Hell yeah. Back for lockup.
I have so many questions, but I feel like I'm only going to get one answer.
Well, you'll be surprised to know that Banana Boy also says okay. And it was 5 days before Banana Man said okay, so I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Oh, God.
Antonio Banderas.
Yay!
I know I'm a little late to the game, but the Make 'em Laugh episode had me laughing my ass off. I know, go figure. I'm sorry you guys were sick and having a bad go of it, but that episode had me cry laughing. Kudos. Thanks, Grant.
Dude, I'm happy.
That helps, yeah.
Sometimes the worst of days make the best of pods.
They sure do. Depression. Batgirl fangirl. Lock me up. Batgirl fangirl. I don't know if Bruce Wayne's smokescreen briefcase is the most ingenious thing or silliest thing I've seen in BTAS. It's Batman.
Silliest.
Where'd Mr. Wayne go? And who left this briefcase here? Let's look inside. Do you think when he changes back, he activates the smokescreen again, or walks down the street as Batman carrying a briefcase?
Wait. Bruce Wayne opens. We get like a glimpse inside the thing. It's the bat suit.
Yes.
So in theory, you could presume that the smoke fades. There's a Bruce Wayne briefcase
suit
filled
inside,
filled with Bruce Wayne's suit
clothes,
inside, and someone's going, oh no, there's a naked Bruce Wayne on the loose.
There's a good line from the Tim Allen The Santa Claus movie. Santa Claus falls off the roof, and then when they look back, it's just the suit there because he's got to put it on now. Mm-hmm. And his first reaction is, he's naked somewhere. That's what I feel like if someone ran across that briefcase. Like, oh, Bruce Wayne, and his clothes are in here. But maybe he's got like that Doug closet of the same brown and yellow suit wherever he goes. So I don't know.
But I don't know. Unless it's just bat suit over three-piece suit Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Oh, it's something we didn't talk about that I noticed with, I think we did it, I think this appeared in a video at some point was why I realized it, but when Bruce and some lady are walking out of the building, like there's such a long run, that was Heart of Ice, I think, where that first happened. Some lady, they're walking out of the Gotham Grill, and she's like, oh, does the meetings always include such a sumptuous meal or something? Mm-hmm. And Bruce Wayne is talking about like, oh, such a great Wayne Corp merger that just happened. That's what he was doing in Batgirl Returns when he's in Pele. Mm-hmm. He's like talking about a merger or some shit. It's all connected. It's continuity. It's cool.
You know what's cool?
What?
Banana Man said okay.
He said okay. I'm still getting over it.
I'm not over it.
There's continuing Batgirl fangirls. When Batman opened Lockup's truck to reveal our bad guy of the week, I actually burst out laughing. I forgot what his costume looked like. He really is just one up from Condiment King. Yeah, I got locks. For some reason, I thought the size of Robin's tracking device that he somehow produced from his utility belt was humorous as well. I forgot that too. He pulls it out and he makes like I'm tracking his power source. So for 9,000 is what I expected him to do. And yeah, it's just this like weird giant like Art Deco box that he's holding. And it's the tracker.
I mean, transistors just had to be bigger back then. You know?
Yeah, it's 1994 and 1942 at the same time. The fact it's the size of a house brick and already had the Ariel extended made me chuckle. Is that what your British word for antenna is? I don't know. Also, there must be a mountain of busted TVs in Gotham by now. Where should we put Lyle? Let's just stick him in the closet at the end of the hall instead of in a cell. That'll do. Yeah, what is that room? It's been there the whole time, I guess. Not seen this one in a while. I enjoyed the episode, though. It was a lot of fun. Great messages, Dylan Scarlowy 1 and Jordan Keene podcast, guys. I so loved you reviewing my favorite episode, Batgirl Returns. 5 stars and 5 smokescreen briefcases. Thank you very much. This is the commenter is just a smiley face is their username. When is Robin gonna return? We got Batman returns. We got Batgirl returns.
Episode 7 when he first shows up.
Suddenly there came a Robin is his version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last first we have Mark Aquino, Lockup. We've had quite a few episodes lately that were fairly lightweight in terms of discussion, but whoo doggy, there's a lot to dissect here in this episode.
Yeah.
The kind of subject that you definitely wouldn't get from other Fox Kids shows. Looking at you, Eek the cat. Yeah.
Oh, that's going back.
It is. I made a point in my comment for Harley's Holiday that the people who work at Arkham are more likely corrupt and probably no better than the inhabitants locked up in there. And this episode pretty much proves my point tenfold. Lyle Bolton is just as mentally unstable as those in Batman's Rogues Gallery. It's just that he thinks he's at first on the same side as Batsy. But not only that, he says that the gutless police, mindless bureaucrats, and coddling doctors are the real cause for how they are, and that he's the only one to properly keep them in check. I wonder what the main characters from Taxi Driver, Fight Club, Nightcrawler, Falling Down, and fittingly enough, Joker would have to say about him. Once he said it all starts with the permissive liberal media, I immediately was like, yep, this guy is trash. Anyway, I'm just a dorky film student from New Jersey and Philadelphia. I'm in no way qualified to properly analyze this. Yeah, neither are we, but we did it anyway. There are arguments that can be made for any side, but this is the kind of socio-cultural topic that the longer the debate goes, the more you end up going around in circles. Oy vey.
Truth.
James and Brian, feel free to make silly noises just to lighten the mood here. Can you do that? Yeah, there you go. We've already got a canon silly noise in the pocket. One thing that's easier to dissect is Bolton's costume when he becomes a vigilante. Seeing how this show is from the 90s, I can't help but think it looks like a send-up of something Rob Liefeld would have designed. It's missing the weirdly drawn feet, though. Regardless of the weird loner who rambles about bad society and how he's the only one that has the guts to say it cliche, I do think this is a surprisingly good episode. Solidly written, well-paced, great voice performances, and some really good animation from Dong Yang. Yes. Another fine villain made possible by a grant from the Wayne Foundation. Only kidding. Are you, though? Are you really kidding, Robin? Speaking of, his usefulness spiked in the second half of the episode, guessing that F-82 was the serial number of a ship, getting himself out of Bolton's robo-tentacle trap. We didn't talk about that.
Hentai happened. Yeah, don't worry about it.
He pressed a button and robot tentacles came out of the wall, and then Robin destroyed the camera he was using to look at him, and so therefore the tentacles went away. I don't know what happened there.
The end.
And freeing Gordon, Mayor Hill, and some lady. Boss, biggest bear hugs to the #1 podcast host in this here multiverse of ours, Jupiter Ascending, and Brenda, you ruin everything. You've got so many hundreds of these left to figure out. You're going to run out. You're going to run out of content on the Watchtower database. Looking forward to the next episode. Yeah, me too. Especially because Bri-Bri's patience will finally pay off, but that's all I'll say about that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I shall follow in Bruce Mann's footsteps and change into my alter ego's costume out in the open of a public restaurant near clear glass doors. But hey, no worries. My secret identity will be safe thanks to a convenient smoke briefcase. Good shit. Thank you, everybody. God. That's the end of the podcast. In a second, I'll read the plot prediction. But if you would like to hear more discussion about the episode Lockup, you should check out the DCAU Review and Timm Talk podcasts, also available on the Podtower YouTube channel, just like this podcast. I'll also go ahead and plug Batman the Animated Series podcast, I believe it is called. We've had some nice interactions with the hosts there. I've been sending you some clips from there.
Yeah, those are excellent.
Enjoying that content.
Are we going to team up with them and do an episode?
Crossover, yeah.
Nice.
Well, I got to wonder, what haven't they covered yet? Like, how far are they into the show? Are they doing it in order? I don't know these are the rules. I don't know what they're doing. Tell me. Send me a message on Instagram like you have been. Thank you to Kimmy, Cooney, Phoenix, Viltsu, and of course, Brother Broderick for all our musical themes. Please subscribe. What am I doing this now? I have to tell Brian the episode first. It's called... Are you ready? You know what it is.
Oh, is this the one that we saw earlier in the DVD?
You thought it was 2 away, yeah.
Oh, it's 1 away?
It's next time, yeah.
It's the Mr. Freeze episode?
It's Deep Freeze.
Yeah, yes! I get a Banana Man and a Mr. Freeze?
Mr. Freeze will be returning. It took me so long to get that.
I'm so excited for Mr. Freeze.
What do you think he's going to be doing? What's
freezing shit. Let's go.
Wow. How'd you predict it? Brian is so good at predicting all the time. Yeah, we'll be back next week for Deep Freeze. Please subscribe to the Watchtower Database YouTube channel for DC Animated Universe videos on a regular basis, and subscribe to the Podtower for all new DCAU podcasts every week. Leave us a like over there on today's episode to help spread us around the interwebs.
Even if you don't watch it on YouTube, just go over there,
anyway.
Send some comments, subscribe a million times, and then
just type okay.
Buy us some fuzzy ice cream.
Yeah. Leave it on Brian's doorstep. And please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or whatever the hell you're listening to this on. You may hear your review read on the show. New episodes of the podcast are released every Friday on the Podtower, as well as your favorite podcast feed, and watchtowerdatabase.com.
Classic.
Deep Freeze, baby. It's
coming at you.
It's Freeze, baby. it's Mr. Freeze, baby. Bye, I guess.
Bye, I know. Thank you, listener, for being so great.
Now I'm in the hallway door, and I can watch Brian from here, whatever he said at the end of the episode. Lock up.
Okay.
Lock up.
Lock up.
Bye.
Hey, look, guys, the big shot's back.
Now you shall learn new lessons in fear.
They thought they could trap me in a world of lunatics, but I showed them. Now I can keep an eye on everyone. They'll never slip past me again.
Stupid.